Good morning everyone. My name is Renard Breaks Relator and I'm going to discuss from Module 1 to Module 9. The topic is History and Nature of Tourism. In this module, you can be able to understand the tourism industry in broad range, understand the history of tourism, relate the tourism as a globalization system, and discover the history of Philippine tourism. And now, let us first define what is tourism industry. First, tourism is a complex industry that involves broad range of business, organization, and government agencies. In history of tourism, various academic disciplines have repeatedly sought to evaluate the significance of tourism. The present articles aims to overcome this shortcoming. It seeks to present an overview of the important structures, processes, types, and trends of tourism against the background of historical development. Tourism as a globalized system. Tourism is often seen as a global phenomenon with an almost incomprehensibly massive infrastructure. Its importance is evident from the fact that its influence truly penetrates society, politics, culture, and above all, the economy. And now, there are so many types of tourism: the rural tourism, ecotourism, shopping tourism, and business tourism, coastal tourism. So, there are principal terms in defining travel and tourism. First is visitors. So, visitors describe all the travelers who fall within agreed definitions of tourism. Next is tourist. Tourist is describe the visitors who stay overnight at a destination. The last is same-day visitors. Describe visitors who arrive and depart on the same day. What is tourism industry? Well, tourism is a complex industry that involves broad range of businesses, organizations, and government agencies. And tourism is a dynamic and competitive industry that requires the ability to adapt constantly to customers' changing needs and desires as the customer satisfaction, safety, and enjoyment are particularly the focus of tourism businesses. And now, let's proceed to Module 2. And the topic is History and Development of Tourism. This module is all about the early and the later tourist attractions, the first travel agent, early transportation, accommodation, and the past, present, and future trends in the travel industry. The objectives of this module is to explain the long-haul travel via land and sea in the early beginnings, and to explain the solution of traveling from the individual travel to mass travel. In the olden days, there was already some travel, but the volume was very small and entirely was purposeful. Travel for recreation is a recent intention. In early transportation, the Romans started building elaborate roads in 150 BC the Romans road comprised a network of 50,000 miles. And now, in Module 3, the topic is History and Development of Tourism. The objectives of this module is to explain the long-haul travel via land and sea in the early beginnings, and to explain the evolution of traveling from the individual to mass travel. Tourism is derived from the Hebrew word Torah, which means studying, learning and searching. Overview of tourism. Tourism is a process, activities, and customers arising from the relationships and the interactions among tourists, tourist suppliers, host governments, host communities, and surrounding environment that are involved in attracting and hosting of visitors. Tourism are the activities of a person traveling to and staying in place outside. Tourism produces secondary impacts of businesses that are affected indirectly, which is known as a multiplier effect. In the year 2011, there were 3,917,454,000 international tourist arrivals in the Philippines, excluding Filipinos from abroad. There are two types of travelers, but let us first define the word visitor. Visitor is a term used to all types of travelers in tourism. So this is the two types of travelers. International visitors, a person who travels to a country other than in which he has his usual residence for not more than 1 year. Second, domestic visitor, any person who, regardless of nationality, is a resident of a country and who travels to a place in the same country. Forms of tourism: domestic tourism, international tourism, internal tourism, national tourism. So in Module 4, the topic is determinants of demand for tourism. There are two classifications of determinants in individual scale, the lifestyle and life cycle. In lifestyle determinants, these are the two factors which arise as part of one's life and also as part of his/her engagement with various activities to be successful. Income and employment, paid holiday entitlement, education and mobility, race and gender, life cycle determinants. These are the two factors that automatically come during the life span of a person, which may discourage or encourage the travel propensity of a person. Domestic age refers to the age group in which the person belongs to. In Module 5, the meaning and importance of tourism. The nature of a tour. Domestic tourism. International tourism. What is tourist destination? Well, it is the geographical unit which the tourist visits and where he stays. Here are the 3A that determines the success of a tourist destination. 1. Attractions. 2. Amenities. and facilities. 3. Accessibility. Tourism has 7 characteristics. 1. Products are not bought to the customers. 2. Products of tourism are not used up. 3. Tourism is labor. 4. Tourism is people. 5. Tourism is a multi-dimensional phenomenon. 6. Tourist industry is seasonal. 7. The industry is dynamic. Tourism is an important human activity with economic, social, cultural, and educational significance. More importantly, it is a vehicle for attaining global peace. And now, let's proceed to the Module 6. The topic is Economics of Tourism. Role of tourism in economic development. Several developing countries has used tourism development as an attractive to help economic growth. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has concluded that tourism provides a major opportunity for growth for countries that are immediate stage of economic development and require more foreign exchange earnings. The demand for pleasure travel is largely dependent on non-economic factors such as local disturbance, political unrest, changes in fashionability of resort countries created mostly by media coverage. Price elastic, income elastic. Tourism is a multifaceted industry. Tourism brings many more. Tourism's direct and secondary effect. This means that the money paid by tourists for businesses are in turn used to pay for supplies, wage of workers, and other items used in producing the products or direct services bought by tourists. Tourism multiplier. It is used to describe the total effect, both direct and secondary, of an external source of income introduced into the economy. In Module 9, the topic is Ratings for Hospitality Industries. This module has an objective of to understand how ratings can be used to identify restaurant, familiarize the different notable restaurant in guides in the world, identify of the 6 stars and 7 stars restaurants in the world, develop understanding in different types of restaurant and accommodation of how they differ from each other when it comes to service and products. How do the world's top restaurant rating system and compare? Restaurant ratings identify restaurant according to their quality using notation such as stars of other symbols or numbers. Stars are a familiar and popular symbol with scales of 1, 3, or 5 stars commonly used. Ratings appear in guide books as well as media, typically in newspapers, lifestyle magazines, and webzines.